my biggest fear with this open border is that we're now creating a new racial divide in this country because people are so fed up that these people are taking advantage and not paying into the system where technically it's not their fault. Once you come, if you were living a shitty life and you could get all this shit, why not, right? You can't blame them. But all of a sudden, now you've got every American, every religion, every race all together hating these people. So it's a new racial divide. And whenever we're divided, we're controlled. And you cannot do that. So hopefully they can just close the border and just take care of our veterans and our homeless and the mental health crisis. But again, we don't lose too much sleep.
I want to know your thoughts about, especially being in the comedy business, and then of course, transitioning over into really transforming lives. What is what do you think about political correctness? Like how is that changed your mind on anything in your world?
So I actually wrote, because political correctness, like, it's BS, because all it is an opinion, and then an opinion that somebody's offended by at the end of the day. Like, I put a whole chapter in my book, Time to Lighten the F Up, that was called It's Time to Stop Being Offended. Because when you're offended, and I especially can speak to this because I'm a comedian and there are so many people that get offended by jokes, and my friends have felt silenced, they've been harassed, they've been bullied because of it. So here's the deal, especially if you're walking into a comedy club. Being offended is one of the most narcissistic behaviors there is. The reason being is you took a joke or a situation that had nothing to do with you and made it all about you. So you are a narcissistic Debbie Downer, suck fun, and fuck you. That's what I would say to that. That was kind of mean. Everyone's like, wait a second, this girl doesn't tell people to fuck up. If you're offended, fuck yourself. No,
no. I would say the same. Look, I'm telling you, I would say the exact same thing. I mean, I think that it is wild. I mean, first of all, don't go to comedy clubs if you get offended easily. I mean, because you don't have to go. I mean, nobody makes you go to a comedy club. I mean,
but here's the thing. But the thing is, like, these jokes that these comedians are doing have been done 20 to 50 to 100 times sometimes. And then to be like, that was all about me. I'm like, are you that big of a narcissist? Like, to those people should be banned. I feel like if you're offended at a comedy club, you should be banned from all comedy clubs across the country. But when it comes to political correctness, and when people are offended by politicians, or they're offended by things at work, and now you have all these people in corporate America who can't even properly do their job because they're afraid that Karen from accounting is going to report them to HR. So now you have all these people like, I can't say the wrong thing, or, I'm a Trump supporter, they're not, they're a Biden supporter, I'm a Biden supporter, they're a Trump supporter. Like, it's like, who fucking cares? People are different, they have different DNA. The best thing you can do, you can't control the crooked politicians. You can't control what people say about you. What you can control is how you react to it. And you have to realize there's nothing to do with you. And the only thing that you can do is be kind to other people. And if you're kind to other people, you can't worry about what the politicians in Washington are doing, because they're corrupt anyways.
Well, and yeah, I mean, there's no question, but there's a pretty deep divide right now. I think that you would probably agree.
I don't think it's as bad as it was in 2020.
You don't think so? Okay.
No, maybe because I don't watch the news as much as I used to.
Okay.
Well, I don't think it's as bad. I think it's actually more people for the right side now because everything's waking up.
I do. I do think that. I do think that you're right. There's no question. I mean, people are starting to kind of, wake up. I mean, I hate to say like they're woke, but man, everybody's getting woke in a good way. They're waking up and they're saying, okay, what is going on? Like, this can't be sustainable. I mean, you can't just open up the borders and let anybody come in. And why is nobody offended? Talk about being offended, right? Why, at least on the left side, why are they not offended that there has been hundreds of thousands of Americans that have died due to poisoning? They're poisoning Americans. literally, like the drug, the fentanyl that's coming across the border by other countries, probably China.
It is, yeah.
I don't understand why they're not up in arms right now going, are you kidding? Like, let's go, what were they doing? Rioting. Let's go riot because all these Americans are dying. Like, what happened? Like, why are we not offended of that stuff?
I 100% agree with you, but like, I don't really watch the news, but when I do hear it in passing, it's not a narrative they're pushing, right? So people are just inherently can't think for themselves, unfortunately. And so they believe everything that they hear. You're not hearing about the fentanyl crisis on the news. You're not seeing it everywhere. So you and I know about it because we're highly educated. We know what's going on out there, right? But this is why. And half of these riots and these protests, I think, are being funded by people. And they're not funding this because they have another agenda. This is a whole thing to where I'm like, Jesus, take the wheel. Like, these people are lost. How did so much evil get into this world? But light always beats out dark. So yes, I agree. We should all be making a protest about closing our borders because like veterans are like losing their homes. People that fought for this country over these people. And granted, every human deserves basic human decency and rights. But at the same time, rules are in place to protect people. If you can't offer the resources for everybody, you can't offer them to some people. And what my biggest fear with this open border is that we're now creating a new racial divide in this country because people are so fed up that these people are taking advantage and not paying into the system where technically it's not their fault. Once you come, if you were living a shitty life and you could get all this shit, why not, right? You can't blame them. But all of a sudden, now you've got every American, every religion, every race all together hating these people. So it's a new racial divide. And whenever we're divided, we're controlled. And you cannot do that. So hopefully they can just close the border and just take care of our veterans and our homeless and the mental health crisis. But again, we don't lose too much sleep. Find out what you can do to make the world a better place. But the rest of it, you got to let go. Because I have a family member who is always sending me shit. And I can only look at some of it because it's like, the world is ending. I mean, she must have like survival food. I'm just one of those people where I'm like, if the world's going to end, like I'm running to the grenade and jumping on it because I'm like, I'd rather just go meet Jesus and not have to be left behind in the suffering. That's where like building a bunker. No way. I'm going to heaven. I'm out.
I hear you. I guess for me, it's kind of a sad thing because I've always been patriotic. I've always cared about America. I've always been that person that was very grateful. Because I mean, think about my life, right? Where I came from, making $7 an hour, changed my life, financially independent by 28. I mean, I just like my life is pretty fantastic. Not perfect, but pretty fantastic, right?
Totally.
Because of America and because we have laws, because America is freedom, because we have, opportunity that is endless. I mean, think about it. Every time I travel, because I travel a lot, I've been a lot of different countries around the world. And I'm telling you, every single time, I mean, it's always fun when you go there and you enjoy it, but you come back home and you're like, oh shit, man, we are so lucky to be Americans. And like you said, these people that are coming across the border, you cannot fault them. They
totally.
Anybody, I'd be that person running over too, because America's so damn unbelievable, right? But this is what a lot of people aren't realizing. If we don't start voting correctly, and I say vote right, if we're not voting right, then we're not going to eventually 10 years, 20 years, I don't know when, we're not going to have a country that is like that because
we're going to be a communist regime.
We will be a communist regime. So if we're not careful. So again, I mean, I agree with you. I don't, I try not to, I still do my stuff all day long. I still am running my life. Future is bright. I'm not, like doom and gloom every day, but I also need to make sure that I stay educated, that I stay aware, and I vote with my, with my ballot box, that I vote correctly. Because if I don't, man, all this freedom, it's not just, you just can't think it's going to be there forever. If
they want to take it away. Trust me, they want to strip it away. I mean, it is some scary shit. Remember when all this was conspiracy theories? Oh, not anymore.
Yeah. I mean, imagine like I'm getting thrown out of Starbucks because my mask is 2 centimeters below my nose, and Disneyland wanted to kick me out. And I mean, it's like crazy. And then after all said and done, nobody ever says, hey man, we're sorry. We probably shouldn't have done that. That was kind of stupid. We made some mistakes. We were just following what all these people said to do. But it's like, there's got to be some more common sense in the world. If we're going to have a better world, we got to like fight together, like as Americans, and say, look, we need to uphold the Constitution and make sure that we make better choices. And so,
and that people are vetted, because I think we've got sleeper cells around, and it's like,
absolutely,
we are literally like any moment there could be a terrorist attack, because there's people coming in from these countries that are not vetted. So it's not just the people that just want a fair chance at life. It's like people that actually want to damage America.
If you like this video and you want to watch another one, click right here. If you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.